Welcome to Guided by Love, the podcast. I'm Nick Place, the producer and host of this show. This podcast is a companion to the book Guided by Love, a minister's thoughts on love, hope, and justice, written by Reverend Rebecca M. Bryan, the settled minister at First Religious Society, Unitarian Universalist, in the beautiful seaside town of Newburyport, Massachusetts. Today's featured sermon is titled Seasons of Love and was delivered on Sunday, February 25th, 2024. Reverend Rebecca, welcome as always into the studio.
Hi, Nick. It's great to be here on another winter Friday.
Absolutely. Great to be here. Shall we start with a chalice lighting?
Absolutely. So as we did last time we gathered, we're practicing a tradition and a ritual that we do here in our faith community and in all Unitarian Universalist congregations. Whenever we gather, we light a candle, a chalice, that represents our faith and also our belief and hope for this world. I'll offer a reading and then we'll light our chalice. The reading this morning is by Omid Safi, who is an author and a professor of Islamic studies at Duke University. This is an excerpt from his essay, which is entitled, May We Cherish a Love That is Raw, Gritty, and Real. And he writes, The old mystics had a discussion on the true nature of love, one that lasted a few centuries. They wondered what the relationship was between the love for humans and the love for God. For a while, the answer was clear and unanimous. The love for humans is elementary, the starter kit. It is merely the alphabet we have to master first, before we can compose sonnets for God. We have to master the love of humans before we can truly learn to love God. In this reckoning, the love of God was set to be the, quote, real love, end quote, and human love was but a metaphor. Then came a breakthrough. These mystics realized, as Bob Marley did, as we must, that there is but one love. Love is what brought us here. Love is what sustains us here. And it is love that will deliver us back home. There is one love. Human love, when it is stripped of the traps of ego, is divine. To journey on this one love is what the mystics called the path of radical love. How liberating this can be, to know and realize that to participate in any love is to be a part of the divine unfolding, the cosmic unleashing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
As I was reading your sermon, what came to mind for me is that love is what sustains human connection. And I don't mean only one-to-one human connection, but neighborhoods, cities, and even nations. Even if we have interpersonal connections that are tricky or uncomfortable. And in this sermon, you're not speaking necessarily of romantic love. It is more universal than that, or radical love, as you just mentioned in the quote. Can you tell us about this word, love?
Absolutely, Nick. So for me, love is fundamental in my own personal theology, and it is expressed as universal liberation. It is an expressed, to me, the expression of the truest love of all, of which we are all a part, and of which we all choose to further or not. It looks like, as Cornel West says, justice in public. It looks like seeing beyond any differences. It looks like going boldly and bravely into places where love is not being practiced or recognized. It's always there. It's how we choose to be. It's going into those places. It's working for justice. It's understanding that until we are all free, including the earth, until every sentient being on the planet, all people, all creatures, all plants, all of the earth, until we are all free, meaning able to be who we truly are, safe, fed, cared for, sustained, until that is true, none of us are free. And so radical love knows that. Radical love is ever present, and we as humans need to choose to live into that. So that's how I understand love. I use a capital L when I write love. I'm not talking about romantic love, although of course that's one expression of it. But I am talking about a love that is an innate energy that's always present, that we choose to participate in. Somewhat like when we talked about process theology a few times back. This sermon that everyone will hear in a little bit, I long resisted writing the sermon about what is love. It's sort of like saying, tell us about, what is the divine, or what is oneness, or what is God, or what. And
yeah, it's a big topic.
No words
Right.
can do it.
Yeah.
Really. So, but what happened for me is that one of my very, very close friends, Polly, was diagnosed with a very serious cancer, and she asked me if I would write this sermon. And so that's where it becomes not about ourselves alone, but we show up for others and do things we wouldn't do if it was just about us. So I dedicate this sermon to her and to all.
Yeah. Wow. Very nice. Now, I believe it's true that not all people experience love, or may doubt love and the power of it. And to those people who are listening right now, what would you say to them?
Nick, it's so important. I'm really glad you asked that. And I think that they may be, let's talk about those sort of one at a time, because they may or may not be the same people. People who have not experienced love, first of all, I am so deeply sorry. The wounds that happen to people in their lives, from seemingly small things that are not, to tragic horrors that separate them from love because of the other person's or people's inability to be connected to that love that's between us. It's like an energy, a force that's always there. I'm so sorry, and I lived myself through many years of that. And so what I would say to the people who are feeling alone or cut off or isolated or doubtful from those experiences, first of all, it is not your fault. And borrow my love, because I know it's stronger. That love is stronger than anything that can happen to us. But I also know it's a path for, not for the faint of heart, to reconnect to that. The second question about doubting love, I also see that happen, not only from people who've never experienced it or who have had very ruptured experiences of it, but also people who have really bought into a system and systems that are designed to cut us off from that love. Systems of oppression. We're talking about, things like capitalism, quite honestly. We're talking about, obviously, sexism and any oppression that separates people from other people. We're talking about racism. We're talking about phobias of other people. We're talking about capitalism, and we're also talking about white supremacy, or any system, but let's look at white supremacy in the United States. It's huge, which has entranced people to believe that because of a color of a skin, a made-up concept called race, that I'm a white woman, are superior to people who are not white, who do not have white skin. And that inherently separates us from the love I'm talking about. And capitalism and all of that wants us to believe it's not true. So some of the doubt, the skepticism, the cynicism, fear, I know, is a direct result of those forces at play. So for those people, I ask you to be humble and willing enough to consider, to let yourself open to the possibility that some of those systems are not designed for everyone's best interest, and that none of us are free until we're all free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for asking. It's really important to talk about all of that when we talk about love.
For sure. It's very complex.
Yeah.
It's very layered.
It's layered. It's complex. And we need to honor it all. Also, knowing that there are those who know and believe. We've been taught through the ages. We read from an essay, and who can attest to the fact that love is real. This kind of love we're talking about is real, and I know and believe that it is stronger than fear, evil, people who are cut off from that. But it's part of our job, if we've known that and experienced that, and most of us it's both, to walk into those places and reach out our hand.
I think it could be difficult for some people to find this love you're talking about when so many of our systems are seemingly designed to prevent it.
They are designed, in my opinion, to prevent it and to eradicate it. And, I'm preaching another sermon this coming Sunday about, that you are enough, and about the power of rest as resistance. That, these systems, they turn people into machines and they separate us. So, yes, it can be hard to find it. All the more of a privilege and a responsibility for those of us that have had a glimmer of that, to again, metaphorically and literally, reach out and show up for others.
Yeah, absolutely. In my experience, love is a light that surrounds a person, right? It's shown in their actions towards strangers on the street, or waitstaff at a restaurant, or even how they describe their worst enemies. Love can be the covert operative, which extracts hate from a heated situation.
Nick,
do you know what I'm trying to say?
I love that.
Yeah.
This is your quote.
Yes.
That's powerful. Love can be the covert operative, which extracts hate from a heated situation. You're a theologian. I'm serious. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Bell Hooks is cheering, and many of us are. Yes, it is an act of resistance to break through all that tells us otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yes. That light that surrounds us and surrounds a person, I believe it also surrounds communities. I believe that it doesn't surround. It is in the ether. It's in us. It's between us. It's so. Yes, I completely agree with that. And those people, I hope we've all had the privilege and gift and honor, but even if you don't, if those people that you just think, what's different about them? Something about that person, it's usually love. Unless you're feeling, but if you're feeling like, I feel better in their presence. Right. I feel seen. I feel safe or comforted, or that's, I don't know, does that resonate for you?
Absolutely.
As what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
What you were talking about? Yeah.
And it's so important to find those people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Reverend Rebecca,
thank you,
for
Nick.
this discussion.
Thank you.
And now let's hear the sermon. Here is Seasons of Love.
Do you sometimes do things that are out of your comfort zone for people you love? Because you love them? Maybe you've been the mama bear who stood up for children and what they needed, even when it was uncomfortable to cause a scene. Or the neighbor who said yes when others looked away. Perhaps you've followed an urge to help someone or a group of people, even though it felt illogical and overwhelming. Love has a way of doing that. It nudges us toward what we know is right and holy and good. And if I can say one thing you remember from this sermon is, it is up to us if we decide to engage and choose love. I've wanted to deliver this sermon about the meaning of love for a long time. But I've resisted writing and delivering it because it means everything to me. And I didn't want to mess it up, to shortchange or do disservice to love's power and possibilities. And before I go any further, I need to say something to those of you, and I know you're out there, who are doubting love, or who have never felt or known love and its power. I have been there. Many years ago, a teacher of mine was leading a workshop on mothering, eternal mothering, goddess. And she said, for those of you who didn't have that, borrow my mother. I'm happy to share her. So I want to invite you to borrow my love. Borrow it for as long as you need to. Let it give you the gifts it has given me until you find your own. So as I was saying, I've been very resistant to offering this sermon until my resistance came right up against my commitment to someone I love. Like I asked earlier, have you done things for people you love that you would never do for yourself because you love them? This person is online. My friend Polly was diagnosed with a serious, very serious illness a few months ago. Polly has been many, and is many beautiful and important things to me and many other people. But she has been encouraging me to write this sermon for years. I promise I will read it, she says. I'll keep it on my nightstand, and right before I go to sleep at night, I'll read it. So when I saw her amazing smile waver, even just a little, with this diagnosis, I knew it was time to write this sermon. It was love's season. So I dedicate this sermon to you, Polly, to all of you, and above all, to the mysterious, beautiful, bold, and subtle power called love. These reflections I'm going to offer are solely my understanding of love. You may or may not agree with what I share. I'm not asking them to be yours. I'm certainly not proselytizing. Each of us has our own understanding and experience of love. These are some of mine. In her poem, I Feel Sorry for Jesus, Palestinian-American poet Naomi Shihab Nye, one of my two favorite poets, describes her frustration with people's blasphemous attributions to Jesus. Her feelings expressed in this poem illustrate how I feel about people's too frequent denigration of love. So I share this poem as a way to enter into my reflections on love. She's talking about Jesus. I'll be talking about love. She says, I feel sorry for Jesus. People won't leave him alone. I know he said, wherever two or more are gathered in my name, but I'll bet some days he regrets it. Cozily, these people tell you what he wants and doesn't want, as if they just got an email. Do you remember telephone? That pass-it-on game where the message changed dramatically by the time it rounded the circle? Well, people blame terrible pieties on Jesus. They want to be his special pet. Jesus deserves better. I think he's been exhausted for a very long time. He went into the desert, friends. He didn't go into the pomp. He didn't go into the golden chandeliers and say, the truth tastes better here. You see, now I'm talking like I know. It's dangerous talking for Jesus. You get carried away almost immediately. I stood in the spot where he was born. I closed my eyes where he died and didn't die. Every twist of the Via Dolorosa was written on my skin. And that makes me feel like being silent for him. You know, a secret pouch of listening. You won't hear me mention this again. I feel about love the way the poet feels about Jesus. Actually, I share most of her feelings about him, too. Here are some of the things that I hear about love. It doesn't work. Love, it's a cliche. Love is soft, meaningless. There are problems to be dealt with in this world. If love is so powerful, why are there wars? I ask, and too rarely to the face of the person who says this, has love really been tried? What kind of love are you referring to? How do you define it? Love saved my life. Let me just start there. And the love I'm talking about was not given to me by a parent, or a grandparent, or years down the road, the perfect romantic partner. Those people fell short in one way or another, as all people do at some point. That kind of love is a gift that many receive and many do not. But it is not the only kind of love. And it's not the kind of love that will save us. We must touch into that love inside of ourselves. So love, as I understand and experience it, is an energy. It's a power of good. As I said earlier, we all have to make the decision to engage with this. It's always a choice. For unlike fear and violence, love will not overpower you. We all have equal access to this power, though many have lost that connection as a result of a culture that doesn't value it, for example, or being mistreated by a person or people or a system that says you are not worthy or lovable. You are an object. I know that disconnection. I've lived it. And I know it can be healed. So allow me, if you will, to share now my letter to Polly, answering her question, what is love? Dear Polly, friend of mine and so many others, your smile is so bright, made more real by your deep dimples. Your optimism is present even while you do no struggle, and especially now that you know a different kind of pain. Your light shines so bright it makes Hallmark look like CNN. I didn't believe it could be real at first. So rare, this state of heart that you embody. Over time, I learned to trust it and believe it to be real. Yet all the optimism and joy in the world does not make us immune from sickness, disease, and loss. All the more reason to be joyful anyway. You've asked me for a long time, my friend, to write about my understanding of love. The day I saw your beautiful smile waver was the day I knew it was time to speak my truth aloud for you. Because that's what love does. Love enters into pain. Love walks toward the places where too many people are afraid to go. The Boston Marathon and the runners that turned back around into the race to help the people. Too many places where people are afraid to go, love goes. The places where we feel most alone, often powerless. The bedside of a dying soul, a person, alone perhaps, except for the hospice nurse. Love holds space. It also holds memories, until and if we're ready to remember. Love is an ever-present energy we must choose. For fear, cynicism, greed, they're always waiting by its side. Love is relational. It is an exchange within ourselves, between two or more people or animals, between people and animals and the earth. Love is experienced in the exchange between us and everything we value, including inanimate objects, musical instruments, a favorite chair on a summer deck. Love protects, even as it connects and ends isolation. Love moves at our speed. Love is beautiful. Nowhere more poignant than when love is experienced in the hardest of times, the times it makes no sense. Beautiful love is when we cry and don't give a damn what we look like. It's when we sob, angry sobs, and our eyes are blood red. Beautiful love is when we call and ask for help. Beautiful love is when we turn to another and say, I see you, and mean it. Love always moves toward the next right action, and if we keep following it day by day, step by step, sometimes moment by moment, it will lead us to the flowing river, the wellspring that bends toward unity, compassion, and truth. Love is brave, even as it is humble. It shows its strength in the places where intellect and heart intertwine. Brave love is vulnerability, truth-telling, daring to take a risk. At the same time, love is paradoxical and mysterious. It is never changing and ever changing, personal and universal. Love speaks all languages, even curse words and silence. Perhaps especially those. Oh, and love laughs, belly laughs and quiet laughs. Sometimes it laughs and cries at the same time. It has an uncanny ability to know where the need is and go there. Love is accessible regardless of physical distance because love knows no boundaries. It is much larger than that. Above all, dear one, as you sit where you are today, know that love is eternal. It never ends with death. Love lives on and on and on, even in its changing form. Love, its circles are everywhere, through all the seasons of life. So what blocks us from choosing love? Resentment, fear, loneliness, wounds from abuses of power that we inflicted or received. Does habit keep love out? Or are we simply trying to be safe? The other thing that can close us down, all of those things, by the way, and the other thing that can close us down to love is loss. This is something less talked about, but so important. There's nothing like the feelings we experience when we lose someone we love, whether it's a long or a sudden death. It can feel like a wasteland, even as your refrigerator is overflowing with casseroles from well-intended friends. When someone that we care about is hurting or changing, growing old, losing some abilities, the loss can be agonizing. I think in that situation, our agony generally stems from our guilt. I shouldn't feel this way. We've been together so many years. He's my father. She's my best friend. We cut ourselves off from self-compassion and grace with thoughts like that. We expect ourselves to be grateful rather than grieving. Let's recognize that we can grieve the losses even as we are grateful, even as we love this person more than words can say. Change brings loss, and loss brings grief. And when we don't grieve well, we have no choice but to suppress it or move away from anyone or anything that might touch that grief. How many people are dying inside, longing for a friendly smile or hug, and yet too closed down to admit it? How many of us take those people at their word, or even worse, mistake their defenses for the truth? We all love, my friends. We all love, and we all grieve, and we all heal, and we all need love. Forgiveness is one important part of opening to love. Forgiveness is not easy, and it's not something that you do or don't do. Most of us forgive a little, but not everything. That's okay. Sometimes you might wake up one day to realize that after all the time, there really is nothing more to forgive. And sometimes you don't. And it's okay. Simply say I love you before they die, says Ken Kretsch. Why don't people say it before they die? Love is a choice. It's sometimes easy, it's often hard. Love goes to where it hurts and invites connection. It goes to where there's joy and it wants to join in. Both parties or all parties must choose love in a relationship. It can't be one-sided. And in a group or a country, there must be enough people who choose love so that it starts a groundswell of caring, holding, and repairing what is broken, hearts and all. Let us choose well with safe places and people. And when it's unsafe to enter a space or a relationship or a topic, let us stay away and let others go into that pain with wisdom and boundaries themselves. Let's move at our own pace and drop comparisons and feelings of despair. Life is a series of seasons of hope, connection, and meaning. Seasons that come and go and come again. Birth, growth, death, rebirth. Whether you are ready for a journey like Amy, or caring for a loved one who used to care for you, they're all seasons. And each of these seasons has unique challenges and gifts. Saints, or ascended masters, live in union with the energy of love all the time. We are not saints. We're simply living our lives, doing our best. But trust this, every action of love you choose, and thoughts are actions, changes you and the recipient if they're open to it. And it just may change the world. So I invite us to start by picking one quality of love, moving toward pain, being brave, speaking the truth, holding space for someone, and see how love responds. May ours be a place where love grows, and may your seasons be seasons of love. Amen.
Thank you for joining us on Guided by Love, the podcast. The next episode will be released on Monday, March 16. We look forward to continuing this journey with you. Please make sure to follow and subscribe to Guided by Love on your favorite podcast app. If you'd like more information about First Religious Society Unitarian Universalist in Newburyport, Massachusetts, please visit frsuu.org. That's frsuu.org. If you'd like to purchase a copy of the book, Guided by Love, please visit your local bookstore and request a copy, or visit your favorite online bookshop. This episode is a production of FRSUU Newburyport and was edited by me, Nick Place. Thank you as always to Reverend Rebecca M. Bryan for sharing her thoughts and sermons with all of us. See you next time on Guided by Love, the podcast, and until then, be kind to yourself, live in peace, and return again in great joy.